Yes, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for all the organization and for the opportunity that I can speak here, present a project that what we're having in Europe with multiple partners. It is called GEOE3 as the abbreviation, and then the long term is Geospatially Enabled Ecosystem for Europe. And that is what we are trying to make is that we are working towards the European data space and the digital twins. So kind of the modern development to digitalize the European countries and the European sectors. And yeah, this is what I'm going to present in a very general overview. And then a couple of days ago, and in a couple of days, you will have a second talk from my colleague Lasse, talking about the details of the architecture of the portal. Okay, next slide, please. I'm working for the Open Geospatial Consortium, which is one of the partners of this project. And the Open Geospatial Consortium, this is a member-based organization. So there are just a couple of people like me working really inside, and then many others are then members of the Open Geospatial Consortium, and together we are forming location information technology, and having two parts. One is the standardization, so you might be familiar with the OGC standards, and this is what we are developing and defining. And then the other one, this is more on my side, we are trying to find new paths. So it's an innovation part of the OGC, where we are developing new technology, which is then later on able to be used in different projects. Then next slide. And our mission is basically that we're trying to make findable. You can move forward. The next slide is. Next slide, please. Oh, okay. Yeah, this was too much.
Nils, is the slide number 5. Why we need location data in European data space?
Okay. Okay. Then we skipped something. Can you go to the slide 3?
Okay. Yes.
Right, here, exactly. So this is to explain OGC and what we're doing and how we are working. So there's one program is for the innovation that we are trying to get new passes, and GEOE3 is one of the projects where we are involved and where we are developing new applications that then later on being transformed into standards in OGC standards that you can use or in your spatial data infrastructures. And then here this is these are some examples of different other projects, and if you are interested in that, check out the website, and don't hesitate of reaching out to us, and then we can continue in giving more details. I will put that later on in the chat as well, so that you have the direct links and not wasting your time for searching that around. Okay, next slide, slide number 4.
This is the common European data space. It's a schema.
Oh, okay, right. So then I have a different picture here, but it doesn't matter. So if everybody else is seeing that slide already, then that's the overview of the European data space, what the European Commission is currently trying to set up. And here you have different sectors. Okay, now I can see that as well. On the screen, and that you have different sectors, and one of them is for example the Green Deal, which is currently being set up, and then others are for mobility, for agriculture, for health, etc. And climate is as well a big issue where we have to organize our data on not only on a national way, but also in the European data space itself. And then so the responsibilities which are in where the national data spaces are being set up should be done in a way so that they are interoperable, not only between Portugal and Spain, but then with the entire Europe as well. And that's where we are tackling, where the GEOE3 project is tackling. So, next slide.
That's it.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks a lot. So we have we have multiple use cases where we are trying to where we are setting up the common data spaces, which is then including the Green Deal, the mobility, health, finance, energy, etc., etc. And the idea is that we connect different data, which is then being able to have different applications and use cases. And one of the main directions where we are moving to is towards digital twins, which means that we're not only having the 3D data, for example, for the buildings itself, but that we have a combining of different sectors. So one of the example you see that here on in the lower picture is that we are based on the 3D buildings. You can estimate the potential for solar energy, for example. So merging different sectors, and then you add meteorological data to that. So you need different sources, and they have to meet somewhere in a common data space. And here inside, it needs to be organized in a way that you can make the best information or location information out of it to optimize your applications. And yes, and for that we are building up the appropriate interfaces that. And then the users, the end users, which are normally or sometimes not technical people or not detailed in data handling, are able to extract the information on demand. Okay, next slide, please.
That's it.
Right. So these are the objectives, just in a nutshell. So the idea is that we have a very easy access into interoperability geospatial data, which are to be able to merge. So currently, well, I think most of you are familiar with the hassle that organizing data, cleaning them up, trying to store them, and then adding that with the appropriate algorithms of making the refinement and bringing that into proper information. And that as better we can, as better we have the access and in the sense of interoperability, as quicker you can work and as more efficient you can run your applications. And the second objective is that we are making a dynamic harmonization. So if you have multiple sources, multiple different data which needs to be merged, so for example, meteorological data and 3D buildings are pretty different from their characteristic, and they need to be merged, and they need to be, there is an implementation of data fusion, which we are trying to organize with the appropriate APIs and with the appropriate GEOE3 architecture. And in the end, we have we are building ecosystems which are national platforms, but in a way that we have quite an exchange over the borders. So one of the partners that we have are based in Finland, others are in Estonia, and these are two countries next to each other. So something like very well, like Spain and Portugal, and then the exchange in between means or requires that your ecosystem or your architecture is built in the same way, so that you can exchange in interoperability. Okay, next slide, please.
That's it.
Here are the use cases for the different data spaces. So solar energy, we have already seen this example, and that here is another one where you see in stadium, and you can really estimate how much possibility of solar energy is there. Another one is is to optimize the transport systems. So to have a cleaner and safer transport to save fossil fuels. Well, last week the COP26 has been taking place, so to reduce emissions. And then the third one, I was already pointing that out, that we are working in a way that we are enabling spatial data infrastructures crossing the different borders, and then and optimizing cities, for example, which are next to each other. Okay, next slide, please.
That's it.
Perfect. And then the outcome, the outcome or the impact is that as better we can provide the information, which is quite obvious, that as better we are optimizing the economy. And there is an estimation that an intelligence location information provision can save up to 1 billion per year on a European level. So here you can also see the motivation of the European Commission of bringing these tools forward, of having that in place, having digital data spaces in a way that they are easy to access to enable appropriate economic profit. And then I'm kind of running out of time. Next slide, please.
That's it.
And what we're doing during the project, so it is already running for the half now, so we can show things already. So we have the architecture in place. And a second point, this is also kind of how we get connected to this workshop here, or to these presentations here, is that we are providing e-learning tools that we are organizing events and hackathons, coding sprints, where you can really learn how to organize the building blocks inside of the spatial data infrastructures. And this is here, this slide, you see the principle how it should be organized. So this is one of the a recommendation given by OpenData, which is another project working on data lakes and data spaces. And the key element inside is that you're providing, or that you're building your architecture in interoperable building blocks. So that different kind of aspects of your data space is being organized by a tool, tool which is fitting into different data spaces. And next slide.
That's it.
Yes. And here comes OGC into play, so that's why we are involved in that. And in the beginning, I was saying that we have an innovation program, and then also a standardization program. And in the standardization, APIs are being defined, and that's the requirement that you need to stick to when you would like to set up a spatial data infrastructure, which is then sticking to. Which is then fitting to each other, so crossing national borders, or then being interoperable with the Inspire data infrastructure, for example. There you can find a lot of OGC APIs inside as well. These are just some examples of how you can build up your infrastructure. And the problem here always is that setting up a spatial data infrastructure, sticking to a standard, is normally more work in the beginning, but then afterwards you have the opportunity of being interoperable with your neighbor. And here is a kind of philosophy. If you would like to run fast, run alone, but if you would like to run far, go together. That's kind of the logic behind, and the motivation why also the European Commission is forcing this kind of projects that we are building up together and merging the different, or bringing the different nations together. Next slide, please.
That's it.
That's for the moment what we are already providing. Is that if you would like to check that out, this is the architecture of the GEOE3, how we are building it up and how we are organizing the use cases for the moment. Everything is on GitHub, so you can see for the moment there is the architecture description document, and where multiple OGC APIs or multiple OGC building blocks are used. You see the architecture here on the side, and which is being organized in a way that it is extendable. So you can set your own. It's in line with Inspire. You can set up your own national spatial infrastructure then, and you can connect with that and to move towards the European data spaces or the digital twin. And then I think then this is the last slide.
That's okay.
Next slide, please.
Yes, it's the last.
Exactly. Okay, yeah, here is it. That if you would like to learn out, I'm running out of time here. If you would like to learn more about the insights and all the details of the architecture, then the 17th there is another talk from Lassie, which is a colleague of us, and talking about the integration platform with all the details and how the platform is being organized. And then also we have a website and the GitHub repository where you can find more information. And also we are around, so don't hesitate of reaching out if you would like to get more or detailed information. All right. So that was a short general overview of the GEOE3 project and OGC standards, how we can use them. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but in the end we managed it. And with that, I would like to thank you and give back to the panel.